We may not have plants, but we have dryads, and SunseedJess looks to bring glory to Demeter and the Earth Pantheon as they take on the blazing hot flames of UniverseX, representing Hephaestus and the Fire Pantheon. If you haven't backed Elestrals Clash on Kickstarter yet, what are you waiting for? Just $10 gets you beta access, and the $99 tier gets you a booster box and much more. Make sure you guys check the links in the description below. I don't know about y'all, but I'm really excited for this one. Let's find out what SunseedJess is bringing to their first ever Elestriad Clash.
So, it is week 1 of the Elestriad, and I'm playing Earth, the plant deck. So, my deck list for week 1, I'm against Fire, I'm against UniverseX. We'll just get into the deck list. I think Earth is probably the most standardized kind of deck list. So, 3 Acrolinks, 3 Viscerus, 2 Mudlet, 2 Mostation, I think is fairly standard. So those are my big like Earth beaters, Acrolinks and Viscerus being like the main 2. Mudlet, I feel like in the Fire matchup, it's not as good. It's great against things like Necroth and Ash Rabbit, but if they're playing a like Blazerous Exalt Flare deck, it isn't as strong. And also I'd like to prioritize some other things here. So I'm playing 3 Electric, I'm playing 3 Ash Rabbit. I'm also playing 2 copies of Boombat. Removing bigger bodies is just really felt really nice in testing for this matchup. Just the 1-for-1 trade, because Fire felt like it had to invest a lot more into their bodies, just the 1-for-1 removal was really, really nice. For the last Elastral I play Lavalith. So the main reason I'm playing Lavalith is because I'm against Fire. I'm playing a Fire Spirit anyway, or I'm playing at least 1 Fire Spirit, so that I can misenchant to protect myself from Eruption. I may as well just play a second Fire Spirit and play Lavalith. Also because having, I guess, a second misenchant might be useful as well. We'll see. For my runes, I play 2 Demeters, 2 Fulloy Forests. Those are my like Nexus Bank cards. I prefer 2-2, especially since you have the Electrics to search the Demeters. 3 Ambrosia. I'm playing 1 Nectar of the Gods. This is my 40th card. I really like Nectar of the Gods in this deck, but because I'm against the deck that can play burn cards, it can play Necroth, there is a chance my opponent is on Eruption. I don't want to invest too many spirits into Nectar of the Gods. Then, last 2 runes, or Invoke runes, Resting on Your Laurels and Earthquake, just good removal cards. Then 4 Decounter runes, I'm playing 3 Gorgon's Gaze, 3 Poison Tipped Arrow, then 3 Altar of Stars, and 2 Tsunami. For my side deck, I'm playing 2 copies of Arcalith and 1 copy of Boombat. I really like Arcalith. I'm not sure if I'm going to side it in just yet, but if I'm finding my opponent is summoning a bunch of Necroths, just attack position Astrals without too much protection, or if I can destroy the attack protection with Acrolinks, dropping an Arcalith late game because I'm already playing 5 Thunder Spirits just seems really valuable. That's the reason I'm playing an extra Thunder Spirit, just for the kind of bonus of Arcalith. And then Boombat if I need extra removal if they're playing like VESUVITUGA, or summon big VESUVITUGA and sit on it kind of deck. Then 3 Gloombat and 2 Lunar Spirits. These are just in case my opponent is playing a very counter-rune heavy build. If they're playing a very counter-rune heavy build, or they're playing into Gloombat by setting a lot of traps, I'll side it in. Then in case it's more like an Eruption, VESUVITUGA kind of build, I'm playing 3 copies of Verdalith inside. Once I show that I'm going to misenchant to protect myself from Eruption, game 1. If they're playing that kind of build, they're going to start using their Eruptions early, so I'm going to get quite low on spirits quite fast, so Verdalith becomes stronger. And then finally, 3 Shield of Achilles. I want to have more attack preventing counters against decks like Blazerous OTK, so I thought Shield of Achilles, really good card. Anyway, that's it for my deck list. Let's get into the match.
I have a feeling that Lavalith and the Vipyro Eruption tech could come into play, but I ultimately think the keys to this clash for Jess come down to executing with Equalinks and Demeter. The pressure they can exert is monumental and can be tough to keep up with, especially if Viscerus hits the field. UniverseX, let's see what heat you're bringing for your first ever Elestriad clash.
Alright, so let's give you guys a basic understanding of what I'm going into, what my game plan is. The first one we've got here is the Necroth. Most of you guys are going to know Necroth is just going to be that big-bodied little threat with a 5, just like 5 power, 5 attack. He's going to be able to hit pretty hard, swing over a lot of things in the early game, and then he's going to be able to deal 1 damage, like force him to expend 1 spirit when that does happen. Next, we've got Ash Rabbit. If you have, you pick 3 cards in your Underworld and your opponent has to choose 1 to go to your hand, the later in the game it gets, the better Ash Rabbit is, because you can start picking 2 of the same card and 1 other good card, or 3 of the same card if you've gotten lucky enough to see all 3 copies, and your opponent has no choice but to give you the card you wanted. We have got 3 VESUVITUGA. This is going to be Fire, Earth, Burn, because I do like VESUVITUGA. You've got VESUVITUGA, he can search Eruption, which is, your star player, from either your deck or your Underworld, and so he's got to be in there. Then you've got my favorite dude, Viserys. He can push damage on his own, he can make a board by his own, and if he is not immediately addressed, he can really just push for the rest of the game with huge attack values, and as long as you can protect him if his battle position gets changed, we're pretty much in the money for having just an attacker that doesn't get attacked over often. Now this is the real star of the show. You got VESUVITUGA. Basically, when he is on the field, you can expend 1 fire to force your opponent to expend 2 spirits, but then when you cast Eruption when he's on the field, you get to take 2 earth spirits from your Underworld back to your spirit deck, essentially making him burn and heal in the same card. I love him very much. We got 1 Lava Lift that just went down to 1, but he's basically just going to be able to blow up a rune and then be able to kind of be on the offensive. And then we've got Verdolith, recycling, the ability to recycle earth spirits, sit in defense, and wait until you can ascend into VESUVITUGA. Next we got Hephaestus. In this deck, it doesn't really do anything. You have to build a very specific flame deck for Hephaestus to actually put in work, because you need to be able to search artifacts, and that's just more of the Argo build, and that is a full commit. Like, there is no splashing to make an Argo build, so he's just kind of here, and I hope I don't draw him when I'm playing. Then you've got Volcanic Forge. Next, we've got Nectar of the Gods. I wanted to play 3, but the space is a little tight, and on top of that, Fire is very, very, very spirit hungry, and the only way that Nectar of the Gods feels really great is if I see like Verdolith and then like multiple Nectars, and then that way I could draw my butt off and then just play this card and just kind of go off from there. So of course we've got Ambrosia. Resting on Your Laurels is also a card that went down to 1. Some good destruction if your opponent has more enchanting spirits than you do. Eruption is the key star of the show. If you guys don't know what it does, you're going to burn your opponent for 3 unless they have a enchanted fire spirit on the field, and then you burn them for 1 instead. It's a little rough in this sort of format because your opponent will know what element pantheon you're in, which is going to mean that they will tech in some fire spirits just to be able to misenchant when they can. Just basically make sure that your eruptions are as dead as possible. So I've got Earthquake, also went to 1, best removal in the game. Shield of Achilles to just protect me from attacking threats. We have got Poison Tipped Arrow to also protect me from attacking threats, but also get rid of some of the threats. We got Tsunamis to pretty much just like close off the battle phase, and then we've got 3 Gorgon's Gaze. The whole point is to kind of just run the game at our pace, burn our opponent out of the game, and then like just sit on it. Like that's really it. And that was the strategy I went into. We have some beatdown aspects as well, but realistically we're trying to just set up enough burn to just push our opponent out of the game and ship them along the way. Now when it comes to my side deck, the strategy is straightforward, so it's kind of hard-ish to side from it. It either works or it doesn't. But we got Remicold, just in case we need to search out our stadium to break theirs if it's that vocal. We got Mudlet, in case they're sitting behind something with an crazy amount of attack or defense in order to swap the positions and then attack it. We've got another Verdolith, just in case like we get into a position where we realize, wow, we burned through my spirits fast and they're healing, so maybe we'll just use Verdolith to get back in the game. This is there because it looks cool. Scythe of Demeter is going to add something to Search of Hephaestus, and it can start healing. Then we've got Shield of Achilles, a 3rd one just to have more, and then we have the Chains of Prometheus in case they have some game-breaking runes that we want to kind of sidestep around. Yeah, that's my deck profile.
It seems like Fire is sticking with their team game plan of utilizing VESUVITUGA. I think one very interesting aspect of this clash is how Universe's Elestrals can also benefit from Jess's Foley Forest. If that VESUVITUGA can dodge those boom bats, Universe has a really good chance to take this one. Will ashes turn to new growth, or will the forest be scorched in an endless flame? SunseedJess versus UniverseX begins now. All right, let's get this party started. Universe gonna fire off a Boltuga right away, tipping off the immediate nature of the Eruption deck. being able to search out that Eruption by simply expending one Earth Spirit here. The real value with that BlueStacks can bring is when you can grab it out of your Underworld, but thinning out your deck at this point in the Clash is really nice. Again, the downside though is you do just kind of, really reveal your strategy right away. BlueStacks with 4 defense is solid, but probably not going to stand up against some of the threats that Jess can bring, especially when paired with Demeter. I did mention the Fully Forest aspect of this Clash and how that could come into play, but Jess is going to fire off a Nectar of the Gods right away to draw 2 cards from the top of their deck to their hand. This card advantage, massive, especially since they went second, so they're already going to be up 1 card there in terms of, draw power. Let's see what Elestral they're going to answer with here. Will it be a Viscerus? No, it is going to be the Elechick, a very instrumental part to Jess's strategy, being able to search out that Demeter, as we highlighted earlier, a key component of the Nexus mechanics that Jess is trying to incorporate. And because Demeter can hit the field right away and buff up every card on the field, you can utilize it to buff up your Elechick to bring it to 7 attack and ultimately take out the BlueStacks. But do note, with Demeter hitting the field, Jess is down to just 14 spirits on their first turn, utilizing a ton of their resources, approximately a third of their deck, right away. There is a Tsunami play here from Universe, shifting that Elechick to defense position, and with no back row for Jess, this is the exact opportunity that the Universe is looking for to be able to pressure forward, take out the Elechick, and potentially be able to deal some massive spirit damage, or even get that Ascension into the VESUVITUGA. UniverseX does draw for turn and sets another card face down. We're going to see an immediate Ascension into another Elestral here. It is the VESUVITUGA. If this was Krakatuga, that would actually be nuts. But Universe has an opportunity here to get off a big Eruption play and deal some massive damage, especially considering that Jess had their spirits reduced so significantly already. Universe having to make a tough decision, opting to put the VESUVITUGA in attack position, hopefully going to have enough support to protect it, being able to utilize its effect right now to burn for a couple of spirits using a Fire Spirit. That's going to force Jess to expend 2 spirits as well. You could use the Eruption to heal, but because Universe doesn't have any Earth Spirits in the Underworld, not able to take advantage of the secondary effect of VESUVITUGA when an Eruption is played, but gonna go for it anyway. Eruption will be cast here. That is going to burn Jess for an additional 3 spirits, and of course the VESUVITUGA heals up a potential 2 Earth Spirits at this point. I don't know if there's any Earth Spirits to grab. There might have been one actually from the BlueStacks initially, so I guess the heal does happen there for Universe. Gonna add that to his spirit deck and gonna be able to bring Jess all the way down to 9 spirits already, and we're only on the 3rd turn of this Clash. Big plays there for Universe, and they're gonna be able to clear the Elechick. The one thing to note though is the fact that this VESUVITUGA is going to be very exposed on this upcoming turn. Not only does it only have a 5 attack stat, but Demeter can buff up whatever Jess wants to cast to the field and be able to threaten it. So, if Universe's face down rune cannot stop this upcoming attack, I actually feel like this could be flipped the complete opposite direction. And there is the Equal Links, a huge play here from SunseedJess. Equal Links is able to Nexus from Demeter onto Equal Links and be able to pop that back row. Is it a Gorgon's Gaze? He really needs it to be a Gorgon's Gaze. Let's see it. It was a Shield of Achilles. A huge pop there from SunseedJess, able to disenchant off of Demeter to buff up the Equal Links to 7 attack, which can run over the VESUVITUGA. Unfortunately for UniverseX, his strategy of VESUVITUGA has been foiled, but he does have a 6 spirit lead here going into his upcoming turn. Will he have a way to clear this Equal Links with Jess down to just 8 spirits? There's a Nectar of the Gods coming into play. Really powerful draw power at this stage of the game, and really opportune timing for Universe, being able to grab 2 additional cards. I wish he probably wishes he saw that a turn earlier, as it would have been a little bit more advantageous had VESUVITUGA been on the field, as you would been able to heal up an additional Earth Spirit and mitigate some of the the damage you're taking there by casting that card there. He is going to set a card face down and does not have an Elestral answer. That could be very rough. Revealing Underworld here. Here comes a Fire Spirit. It's going to be a Misenchanted Equal Links. I love this play. That is going to ensure that as SunseedJess spirit count starts to get lower and lower, they are no longer threatened by the power of Eruption. There's the Nexus from one Lynx to the other. Brilliant plays. Gorgon's Gaze comes out looking to stop one of these Lynx from being able to do that, but it ultimately just ends up being an even exchange as you're taking 2 spirits here regardless, so it isn't going to make a huge difference. A game that started off so powerfully for UniverseX in the Fire Pantheon has put SunseedJess in the driver's seat right now, with their Equal Links bounding forward to take an additional spirit of damage from Universe. Now looking to try to make some sort of a comeback here. But man, oh man, this one has gotten really, really close. There's the attack from the Equal Links, as the one with the Fire Spirit cannot attack. And again, very, very cool here to future-proof and protect themselves from a potential double Eruption here, which could be devastating for SunseedJess, because again, Eruption does not really do a ton of damage to you if you have a Fire Spirit on the field. On your Elestrals, it only makes you expend 1 Spirit instead of 3. Volcanic Forge actually might be a hindrance here for Universe, as it's going to buff up Equal Links to 5 attack. Will he have a Necruff here to fire off? It's going to be the Ash Rabbit with 6 defense coming out to the field. He's going to be able to look at 3 cards in his Underworld and add 1 of them to his hand. Jess is going to be the one to decide it. It's going to be Boltuga, VESUVITUGA, and the Nectar of the Gods. Jess having an option saying which one. Going to give him the VESUVITUGA back. I thought that was an interesting play. I feel like I probably would have chosen the Boltuga just because it's so expensive, and the Eruption isn't really super threatening at this point, but Universe does have the Ambrosia, being able to heal up. That's actually a really, really big Ambrosia at this point in the clash. Being able to get an additional 3 spirits back, and Ash Rabbit stands very, very strong here with its 6 defense. It is noting, though, that Volcanic Forge can be destroyed by Equal Links, and if another Demeter is found, SunseedJess can run over this Ash Rabbit. But if you're Universe, you actually probably aren't feeling too bad, because 5 defense holds up really well against a lot of these Earth Elestrals if there's no removal. But Mustation, the absolute perfect answer here for SunseedJess. Mustation comes out to the field with 6 attack because of its effect, and it can immediately pressure and take out a potential Ash Rabbit if there's no Volcanic Forge. And of course, Jess has the flexibility of going for a Nexus here. I do want to mention that the Equal Links with the Earth Spirit would have to be the one that did this Nexus for this effect to work. You could pop the Volcanic Forge. Mustation able to take out the Ash Rabbit here, and now 3 spirits of damage. UniverseX taking big damage here, and again, I highlighted the keys to this clash. Demeter and Equal Links are what fuel the Earth Pantheon to become a very, very dominant force. Being able to destroy those runes with its Nexus effect makes it so incredibly strong. And let's see if Universe has a clapback here. Got 6 spirits on Jess's side with a ton on the field. 4 spirits on field, and it looks like Universe is just gonna scoop this one. SunseedJess with a commanding victory here, taking this clash 1-0 as we head to game 2 of our best of 3 here in the Elestriad. Both these casters had an opportunity to dive into their 15-card side decks to enhance their strategies. Jess rocking some Vertilids, Gloombats, and a couple other tech cards, while Universe also running some Vertilids. Had some interesting rune choices like Chains of Prometheus. We'll have to see if any of those come to light in this one. But Universe gonna start this off with a Necruff, and SunseedJess comfortably casting out an Elechick here on first turn, searching out that Demeter. Again, a key component of the strategy, and that Demeter just allows Jess to plow over this Necruff. Universe in a bit of a tight spot. We'll have to see if he has the face down counter rune response like he did in the first game. Tsunami proved to be really advantageous. Let's see if he has it again, and we'll also have to see if Jess is able to set any back row to combat a potential comeback here. Let's see, that Elechick buffed up to 7 attack. Universe having to make a decision. Is the Necruff gonna go down? No! Elechick gets bounced back to hand with the Shield of Achilles. And that's actually not a bad trade from Universe here. It will allow Jess to be able to get a second Demeter comfortably, but simultaneously it ensures that Necruff stays around, and you were able to waste one of the spirits on the Demeter. So not a terrible trade as long as you're able to follow it up with additional back row. This is Universe's chance to really make a big play. Going for the Ascension here. I love the Ascensions here in the Elestriad. A little bit of metagame shakeup has proven to be exciting, and VESUVITUGA hits the field in defense position instead of an attack position, so that's going to limit how much damage it can do. But one thing Universe might have forgotten is Elechick plus Search Demeter. 2 Demeter hits does ensure that Elechick hits over VESUVITUGA no matter what, so it's kind of an interesting exchange whether it was worth just attacking here. But Universe does go for the simple burn, burns for 2, and is going to hold his VESUVITUGA in defense position. But Jess says, you know what? I'm not about that. I've got my boom bat, and I'm going to boom, and I'm going to destroy your VESUVITUGA here. So while Jess clears the VESUVITUGA, Universe does have an opportunity to maintain and gain field control once again, but a very well-timed boom bat there from SunseedJess. It's going to be the Necruff hitting the field for Universe. Going to be able to get a simple Spirit of Chip damage off, no back row on Universe's side, which means that Necruff is certainly going down on the upcoming turn to either an Elechick or an Earth Elestral. And this is where things can start to really snowball out of hand. if you're UniverseX, because without the back row to protect you, a Viserys could be devastating, but it is going to simply be the Elechick, a wise choice here from SunseedJess, searching out Demeter once again. I'm sure Demeter is thrilled to make another appearance here, but I think that might have been actually a fail to find, potentially indicating that the Demeter was in Jess's hand already, and a nice little Ambrosia pulling off the Demeter to be able to heal a couple additional spirits back after the buff on the Elechick. Elechick is buffed up to 7, and Jess gonna save the Demeter in hand, or potentially sided it out here for this game too. It's unclear, or maybe I missed them grabbing it. I'm not sure, but either way, Universe here, 14 spirits, is gonna get a Viserys of his own. Wow, this could be huge. Viserys with 5 attack, hitting the field, able to take out the Elechick, and then search the deck for an additional Viserys to cast into defense position. Universe does attack. It will take out the Elechick, and a second Battle Bug Elestral is going to hit the field here for UniverseX, rocking the Fire Pantheon, but has those Earth Elestrals as well, and that will be shifted into defense position on its cast. The interesting mirror match between Viserys could play into effect here, as they all buff each other's attack. So if Jess were to cast out a Viserys of their own, it would actually be an additional attack. But no, it's gonna be Lavalith! Lavalith immediately takes down a Bluff Chains of Prometheus and has the ability to take out the defense position Viserys here. But because of Demeter, SunseedJess does have the flexibility to try to take out the attack position Viserys, which would give -1 spirit damage to UniverseX. Let's see what they end up doing. They are going to just take out the defense position one, a wise choice. And I will mention this play was a little telegraphed. If I had to bet money, I would say that that face down rune is an Altar of Stars. But let's see if that comes to fruition. UniverseX draws, plays a Fire Spear, goes for the Ascension again, no shot. Is it going to be the VESUVITUGA? It is! VESUVITUGA hits the field for the second time in this clash. Things I did not see coming, and expend on VESUVITUGA. That is going to force a 2-spirit burn on SunseedJess, but because Lavalith is on the field, Universe does not have the flexibility to cast Eruption here, which means that SunseedJess is going to be able to use Demeter's effect to buff up Lavalith and take out the VESUVITUGA if that counter rune does not come into play. Jess fishing for an Equal Links here, and they find it! Huge plays from SunseedJess. Equal Links hits the field, the perfect pair for Demeter. The Nexus play is going to come in here. And whatever that face down rune is, it is immediately pressured, and it's another Chains of Prometheus. Devastating as an Earthquake shatters down to the field. The Earth Pantheon is cruising and crushing, and the plants are vibing as that VESUVITUGA is gonna get sent straight down to the core of the Earth, right where Hephaestus Forge might just be. And we're gonna see SunseedJess put on incredible amounts of pressure here with both Lavalith and Equal Links being able to hit Universe's spirit deck for a total of 4 spirits this turn, bringing this clash to a 5-6 clash right down to the wire. And SunseedJess has perfectly positioned themselves in a way to be able to play around Eruption. Universe has gotten his VESUVITUGAs out. He's been able to execute his game plan, but the perfect strategy and planning from Jess has proven to be victorious as they claim victory here in their first ever Elestriad clash. A dominant performance from SunseedJess in the back of Demeter, Equal Links, and a little bit of Vibe Pyro. Make sure you guys back us on Kickstarter. There's not much time left for our Clash Kickstarter. And of course, you guys can check out another Clash tomorrow. I'll see y'all then.